Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to jump into the Traveler Companion Update 2024. And first let me say a little something about the Traveler Companion. I took a look at this book a while ago on the channel. I have to admit, when I first saw what this was about with a bunch of alternate rules for Traveler and all that stuff, I thought, well, maybe I don't need this one. So I put it lower on the list. I've since rethought my position on this book a lot. And this book has a lot of goodness in it. And I'm actually to the point that I think I might have to get this one in hard copy. But today we're going to deal with the fact that I still have it just in PDF. And it's Update 2024. So this is the newer one that came out last year. And we're going to take a look at a new statistic you can introduce to your characters. Wealth, WLT. I am of a couple of different minds on this. I'm going to go through, explain what it is, and then explain why I'm conflicted on this. If a referee does not want to track every credit and cost of item, they can use the abstract wealth characteristic, WLT. A character's WLT starts equal to their SOCH and is increased by 1 for every cash benefit roll taken after a career, to a maximum of 15. Reduce the traveler's wealth by -1 if they are injured during a career and -3 if they use anagathics. A traveler's wealth characteristic determines the lifestyle they can maintain comfortably and how much petty cash they have on hand. The traveler has a number of credits at hand at any time in a given month equal to the amount shown on the wealth table. And the wealth table shows at the bottom 100 credits per month and at the max 20,000 credits a month. So right there it brings up a few questions. So let's just say my character has an average SOCH of 7. So he gets 2,000 credits in a year. But he has 3 cash rolls that he can use when he musters out. So he says, yeah, I'll put 3 cash rolls. So now he's got a 10, it's 7,500 credits a month. So this begs a couple of questions. This is referred to in the write-up as petty cash. So I would not consider this money the traveler needs to maintain an apartment or anything. This is just money that they have they found in the couch cushions, and they can go ahead and spend it on whatever they want. It's discretionary cash. That's pretty powerful if you're getting 7,500 a month discretionary money. Finishing out the write-up, if the traveler needs to spend more than this amount, they may do so by making a wealth check modified by die modifier -1 per 5,000 credits spent. If the check succeeds, the traveler can make the purchase. If the check has failed, permanently reduce wealth by -1 and try again, or not make the purchase and avoid the reduction. At the end of each month, the referee should adjust the traveler's wealth characteristic up or down if their financial circumstances have changed greatly. In addition, it is suggested that amounts both earned and spent, measured in millions of credits, are tracked accurately. Wealth should be used for personal items and purchases alone. So in other words, you shouldn't have this guy running around buying everybody the best gun or whatever, best armor. I disagree with that. If it's your discretionary fund, your petty cash, and you feel that you need to help keep your friends alive by helping them with better protection and better weaponry, then yes, I would absolutely allow it. And I'm of two minds on this. I did a video not too long ago about money and how money is power in Traveler, and it is. So you have a player who, in my example, had a SOCH of 7, and then through 3 mustering up benefits to that wealth stat and made it a 10, 7,500 credits a month. Now it says they can accumulate the money, and I would allow that anyway. So say I go 10 months just to keep the money nice and round without spending any real petty cash. I just am living a normal lifestyle. I've decided I'm not going to go out and have big parties or do anything extravagant. I've now got 75,000 credits in mad money, in money I can do whatever I want with. That is a lot of coin in Traveler. And you can make this even worse by continuing on not spending for months and months, or don't spend for 5 months, then spend for a month, and then don't spend. It can really add up. And I'm kind of against this. I don't like abstract wealth in player character hands. I love abstract wealth in non-player character hands, patrons, anything like that. Yes, that's what makes the cosmos go round, is the wealth of other people, and your travelers are trying to attain it. This could be very important as to your traveler's career. They have the wealth, they're going to go ahead and say they had a little bit better SOCH, they ended up with a 9, and they throw 3 rolls to the 9, and it becomes a wealth of 12, that's 12,500 credits per month of discretionary income. That's a lot. And as I said, I, as the GM, would not limit my player to only spending it on themselves. I'd let them go ahead and rent a party bus, and off the group would go, and that kind of thing. So I think this is an interesting stat, but it's not one I'm looking to immediately put in. However, I do think that there would be a game that I would put this in, and that would be any kind of characters that were based on to grow politically. So he's the third son of a sector duke or something like that, and this is his household money. Then that could be really interesting, especially if all the players were from that same kind of group. So they all had discretionary cash, and they were just goofing around, being dilettantes, perhaps. And then they have the wealth stat and different things you could do with that as a GM really suggest themselves quickly. I like the idea of these wannabe adventurers who decide that they have all this money from daddy and they're going to go ahead and spend this money to give them the best weaponry and best armor and hire expert guides, and they're going to rent a safari ship, whatever they're going to do, and then find out that they don't really have the skills to back up the money. That can be a lot of fun, a lot of good role playing. So that kind of scenario, yes, but an average traveler scenario where the travelers are trying to live week to week, month to month rather, on what they make in this cargo or this side job or that side job. No, I think wealth is going to end up kind of spoiling that a little bit, because they always know that all they have to do is wait, and then the stipend comes in from daddy and I'm all good. Now, the other thing you can do with this is if the player outruns his money, in other words, he gets an update once a month on the first day of the month from mommy or daddy, and that's when the money comes in. But if he's out of position, he's on another planet or in jump space and can't collect it, and where he's headed doesn't have a proper banking system that he can collect the money, he can actually find himself strapped for cash because he's only got what he's got with him, electronically or physically. And that's kind of an interesting situation too, so that can be a lot of fun. Also, if I did the patron thing where the mommy or the daddy was the sector duke and they were really powerful, whatever, I would also give them basically a credit card, for emergency situations. They need to have the cash, so they go ahead and they use the credit card and have to explain it later. That could build some good dynamic role-playing too. So wealth, I'm of two minds. In an average traveler campaign, no, I would not include wealth as a stat. In a traveler campaign where I had a bunch of wannabe politicians or otherwise, an actor character that decides he's going to also be a traveler, learn for a role or something like that, this could be an interesting stat to have. So the old Castle show is a good example of somebody who has wealth. Castle's going around with the New York Police Department, and he's solving all these murders, but he has all this disposable income, which he also makes available to his friends at need, and he's used it to help in cases and things like that. So that's a good example in my mind of how wealth can belong to one character, but that character can spread it throughout the group. But that's all I've got to say on this alternate characteristic. I've grown to really, really like this book, and I've really rethought my position on it. I do recommend it. I recommended it when I went through it, but I've really started getting deeper into this, and I'm really thinking that I underestimated this book when I first read it, and even when I first did the video on it. So I do recommend it. Like I said, there's a good chance I'm going to be picking this one up in hardcover. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave comments below, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Tell your friends. Take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. But that's it for today. I'll see you next time on page 121.